Welcome to Tonal Distancing. I'm here with Nina Grace today. Before we get started, let's do a toast to the lords and ladies of music. Please be kind to us as we drink and guide us on our musical journey. Nina, who would you like to toast today?
I would like to make this toast out to Paolo Nutini and your new album.
To Paolo, and I would like to make my toast out to Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. When I was in Hawaii recently, I went to his his awesome restaurant that is live music and stuff. So to Paolo and Mick.
And Mick.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Delicious.
So good.
So, Nina,
Yes.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
So no, I'm happy you're here as well. I know you. We worked on a song recently. You've been playing with KNMX and the Diamond Dogs.
Yes.
But I know you have so much more that you do. I know we've briefly talked. You recently told me that you did some dancing beforehand, before you got more into music. So I'm not going to talk too much about you. I want you to tell us about Nina Grace and who she is, and give us a nice introduction about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Nina Grace here. I'm a singer-songwriter from New York City. I've been singing my whole life, and I started releasing original music a few years ago. My latest release is a collaboration with Ivy States. The song is in Spanish and English. It's called Hasta Mañana, and you can find it wherever you listen to music. I also have some upcoming releases, a solo track, and a collaboration with KNMX. So for my social media plug, you can find me at Nina Grace Music on all platforms, social media platforms. So that's going to be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I'm there, but I'm kind of like a ghost, so maybe not there. And then for my music, I'm on all streaming download platforms under Nina Grace, which is NINAGRACE.
Awesome. All right, and to start us off, we're gonna play "Summer Haze" by Nina Grace.
Company, but it don't mean much to me if they come asking for my key. Anywhere is home, and I'm eager to roam. Don't be worried if I choose to up and go. Take my hand and I'll lead you to the riverside. Show you how to leave it all behind.
I did dig "Summer Haze" a lot. What was like kind of the process of like writing that song? Was that one that you wrote entirely on your own, composed, produced on your own?
Yes, except for one piece. So the way that this song started is I was hanging out with a friend, and he is a really great pianist, and he was just playing this loop, and I told him, like, I have to have it. So that's actually the loop that's playing in all of Summer Haze. There's other things going on, so you might not notice it unless someone points it out. But if you listen closely, there's actually like a piano loop that's just playing over and over again. So that's how the whole thing started. And then everything else was written by me. I wrote this song kind of in a unique way. I don't often write this way. But I just had the track on loop. And then I kind of, this is for the songwriters out there who know what I'm talking about. I did kind of like this like mumble writing where you just let the words come out of you. And the really crazy thing is more often than not, it just works. It's almost like you don't know what you need to write about or what you need to say, but it just happens. And you're like, oh, that actually does mean something to me. So I wrote almost the whole song like that. And then I sat with it for a few years, actually. So I wrote this, I don't know, maybe 2018. And then I wasn't really releasing music just yet, and I wasn't sure what to do with it. I didn't know how to produce back then. But last year, I started learning how to produce, and I decided to use Summer Haze kind of as an experiment for the first song that I would produce and then release. So I had other releases out there, but they were never produced by me. And I mean, I definitely learned a ton from it, and it's not perfect, but I am like really happy with it. So it's very empowering to say that like I took the song from start to finish, and yeah, that feels good.
No, that's awesome. I think it's taking something from start to finish. You feel like really rewarded by it because it's like, you know, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad. of that song, you're like, I did it. And it just means that if you need to do it again, you can do it again. And sometimes it's
Totally.
like, that's the biggest thing, is like knowing that I have the ability to do it, and taking the time to learn all the small things, and at least the building blocks that will like help you in the future. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I never knew that you did it all on your own. I know you started doing some producing on your own. I didn't know this was the first one, because
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't have been. I'm like, that's the first one.
I think I made like one post about it. So it's like, if you saw it, okay, great. But otherwise, people wouldn't know. But it did mean a lot to me, because it was kind of like this big hurdle. It's so nice to not have to like wait on people, and then hope that they'll like understand your vision and carry that out for you, you know? So then I released Here Lies after that, and I also produced that myself. And then now I'm producing Back to My Body. So it's a journey, but it's fun.
That's awesome. So let's go back in time.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying that is because you told me briefly you did some dancing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a dancer. I started off playing guitar, and it took me a long time to also like sing and play guitar. I actually just focused on guitar primarily, and kind of that in the vein of what you were saying of just trying to get everything under your wing, so you kind of control, I guess, your destiny, for lack of not to be so dramatic, but so you can kind of control the project and make sure it keeps moving. But you didn't start with like the singing and the piano playing, right? You were dancing before. So tell me like about that. I was like, so not saying I would be surprised that you can or can't dance, but like I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like everyone I talked to is like, yeah, I just started playing guitar, or I just started playing sax, or I just started playing drums.
You're in the world of guitarists.
I'm in the world of the instruments,
Yeah.
Not so much in the world of like the I guess like, I don't want to say it's a byproduct of music, because some people do it with an intent that this is dance music, but I don't think about the motion of like, dancing when it comes to making music. That's for me, that's like the byproduct. It's not the main thing. So
yeah.
Tell me about that. I'm going to stop talking.
Okay.
And tell me about your dancing and stuff.
I feel like it's a little bit of a long story, but the two are very connected for me, to the point where like I finish a song and then I immediately start thinking about like, well, how would this manifest visually? So I've been like dreaming up all these music videos with movement in them. But okay, back to the beginning.
Wait, can I ask you a quick question?
Oh, of course.
So do you think about the video, or do you think about live performance with dancing?
Mostly video,
Okay.
but I'll get more into my goals, because there's also ideas for live performances.
All right, I
too.
can't wait to hear it.
So I started dancing at 4 years old, and I don't know, I remember just like crying a lot initially. When you're a kid, I don't think when you're that little, like you're not like, this is my purpose,
Yeah.
But actually very quickly, like I took such a liking to it and I just fell in love with it. And I mean, it became like my whole life. Like I became really engrossed in it. And after school every day I went to dance classes, and then like weekends, were rehearsals and performances, and I just kind of threw myself at it. And then I guess in high school, then it was my dream so I grew up in New Jersey, and then it was my dream to start coming.
Never mind. Cut. I'm just kidding. Go on. I'm just fucking with you.
I'm sorry for any Jersey lovers in here, but even though I'm from there, I'm not like the most proud to be.
Hey, I mean, it's better than a lot of places.
I grew up in suburbia where it was quite boring, but you know what? I had a good childhood, so I can't complain.
Yeah. You're talking to someone that came from the Midwest, so like it's not like I can be like, oh, represent.
I grew up New York adjacent, which was like the best thing about New Jersey. Like I grew up really close to the border.
I don't know. I have thoughts in like New York, New Jersey, and Long Island, but we don't have to discuss that here. Right? We don't need to.
It's fair.
We don't need to throw people under the bus. Long Island, I'm throwing you under the bus. Jersey's better than you, I think. I'm not that sure.
I think we should move on from this before we really offend some people.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
With a lot of Long Island fans that you're trying to keep a solid face.
So I'm sure some people know that some of the best dance schools are in New York City. So my sophomore year of high school, I got into this dance school here in New York City called Alvin Ailey. It was like an absolute dream. And then a few months in, I injured myself. I could barely move.
Wait. So when did you get into the dance school?
I think I was a sophomore in high school, so
Okay.
15 years old.
And then how long did it take you to injure yourself?
A few months.
Why did you
Yeah.
injure yourself? Were you trying to
I
prove
actually,
you trying to prove yourself?
No.
To the
You know,
other
the crazy
dancers?
thing is, I didn't injure myself in class, but I think the injury did come from a lot of like wear and tear from
Okay.
dancing. I was literally walking down the street one day, and then like I couldn't use my right like
shit.
ankle. It was mostly my ankle that I injured, and I just couldn't walk anymore. Fully
Damn.
recovered now, obviously. Well, not obviously because I'm sitting, but
She's
anyway.
not recovered. She has a peg leg. She doesn't like to talk about it. But I'm telling you,
Okay. So anyway, so then I actually, you know, music's always been a part of my life, but it's also on the side because, you know, my dream was to become a professional dancer, dance with a company. That's all I ever thought about in terms of my career. Didn't consider other things. Even though I loved music, it just at the time wasn't as important to me. So I was in, you know, school choir, school band, musical theater. And then when I got this injury, I was like, okay, well, I want to focus on something creative and like, you know, enjoy how I spend my time after school. So I just really threw myself at that and did a lot of like music extracurriculars. I was telling Kanam that I was a real nerd and I was the drum majorette in the marching band, and I feel like this isn't so
Wait.
nerdy. I twirled some rifles in the color guard. I feel like that's kind of cool.
It's all over my head.
Oh, really?
I went to a weird high school, so that's like why I'm not like really in sync with marching band. But what does drum major mean? Like, are you out there playing the snare, the
No,
drum,
so you
or
don't.
It's with the
You have
the
a
staff.
baton.
You have
Yeah.
the baton. Staff. You're just out there Gandalfing.
The Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
You have a baton, and your main purpose, there's all this extra stuff, which I'll explain in a moment, but the main purpose is that you actually conduct the band.
Okay.
So like you're there at the beginning of a football game and you're playing the national anthem and they put you on this really big podium and you get, you know, in front of the band
Yeah.
and then you conduct them. But then halftime show, which is like our big spectacle, you have this whole routine and you have this baton and you're doing some dancing, but always have to incorporate the baton. And yeah,
So
it's performance based, but obviously you have to conduct.
Are you bringing a baton to the next gig?
No, I don't even
Why
have
not?
it anymore.
Why don't you have a baton anymore? What kind of band leader are you?
It's in my past. It's part of me, but it's in my past.
No, we gotta bring that back. Okay, so
Okay. Maybe we got sidetracked.
injured foot from dancing, band geek.
Band geek. Then I'm getting ready to go to college, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna refocus on dance. Like I, you know, need to focus on, you know, getting back to the rhythm things, taking class, being strong, and major in that. And then, you know, right after school, audition for company.
Wait, can I ask this?
Yeah.
Obviously a dumb question for someone that
No,
like, doesn't do dance.
it's fine.
So like, the auditioning for a company, like that's like, what companies would that be? Like, is it like Cirque du Soleil? I don't know. That's I feel like that's silly. Or is it like Broadway companies, or how does that work? I know I'm jumping ahead, but
It's okay. It's okay. It depends what you do and what your sort of like future goals are. But Alvin Ailey is a modern company, and I know that may not mean much, but I guess if you think of something a little more like abstract, contemporary,
okay.
that was really what I was passionate about. And there are a lot of companies, even just in New York alone, that specialize in that. So that's the sort of dance companies that I would.
That would be like I guess I'm thinking of like the tail end. Like I'm the audience member, so
Yeah.
like where would I end up like seeing Nina Grace dance with this great company, or this great company having the great Nina Grace dance with them? Would that be
Where would you go?
Would it be like Broadway, or is it like a different sort of
No,
like
there's dance theaters.
Okay, dance
around
theaters.
And there's been some amazing companies at BAM
okay.
here in Brooklyn. So they use that space for dance as well. And then City Center, Joyce Theater, New York Live Arts. There's like a lot of theaters that are dedicated.
That's
to
awesome.
This.
Now I'm like really interested in actually going seeing like performances.
Oh yeah,
like,
I can give you recommendations.
Something completely under my radar. Anyway, sorry. Rewinding. College. Getting back your legs back. You know.
Getting my legs back.
Getting your legs back.
Yeah. So I go to college as a dance major, and then I'm actually. You're wondering what that pause was about?
No. Like as like, it's always like so interesting. People entering college and then like hearing that like that confidence you had and doing like what made you so confident in just going to college and saying like I'm doing. Is it just all your whole life has been that? And it's like,
my whole
what
life
else would
like,
I be doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
My whole life was just leading up to that moment. I loved singing. I loved everything like, relating to music and performing. But that's really all I ever thought. It was very much like one track mind. This is what I'm going to do with my life.
Okay.
And then life has other plans, I guess, because I changed my mind.
How long did it take you to change it? Well, why did you change your mind and how long did it take you?
It had a lot to do with where I went to school. So the major, what actually counted toward the major ended up being mostly history classes.
Oh, okay.
And I was like...
You didn't want to hear about
I mean, one or two, okay. But the actual practical class, like the dance classes, barely counted toward the major. And I really just wanted to be spending my time moving. That was like my dream.
Ooh, okay.
There's a lot of like essay writing and like... Anyway, if you're a dance historian, that's a dream, but that wasn't my dream. So I decided to actually start learning how to like write music. And I started taking these theory classes and I loved it. And I became a music nerd all over again.
Okay. So wait. You decided like no more dance. You just like switch your music.
I should say I keep dance. So all throughout college, I kept dancing. I just
your major.
I started kind of sort of reviewing other options, I guess you could say. But I always kept dancing throughout college because you can just take them. They don't count toward anything, but you can just take them.
So I think it's interesting that you like when you change gears to doing music, it's music theory that gets you into like actually writing music.
Yeah.
Because like I took a couple music theory courses in college, but by that point I had already been playing for like 5+ years.
Yeah.
And like music theory is like always something because I appreciate kind of that those fundamentals of it. It was always something I wanted to get to, but like I never like spent the time on my own. So when I had the opportunity to take classes, I took them, and that kind of added to what I was already doing, or also explained what I was already doing in songs I've written previous. It's like, oh, I'm using this scale. I'm going to these chords. Like, but it's weird. Do you like generally use like music theory to dictate how you write a song?
I think that I had to go through that in order to learn how to write music.
Interesting. Oh, I mean, I know that's probably a lot of people do that.
Process. But I think maybe a lot of people learn by ear. They listen to music they love. They, if you start music young,
knockoff, like,
exactly, you make your own cover and you're like, okay, I got it. Yeah. And then that's a way to learn an instrument and a way to learn, chord progressions and sort of like general song structure. But I was like very late to the game. Yeah. So although I actually did play instruments, this doesn't count toward theory as much, but I played percussion for several years.
That means a lot. I mean, you were just practicing with me and Joe, and like my timing is atrocious. I'm like, damn it, it's finally showing. I don't have Daniel on drums covering me up. I'm playing against a metronome. This is my nightmare. It's like reading aloud, but with music.
Wait, aren't you a drummer?
I never say I'm a drummer.
There's a difference.
It's like when you say you're a singer, and I could say I do. I say I do vocals. I don't say I can sing.
Oh, I never realized that you made that distinction.
Because I don't want someone to be like, you said you were a singer. I never said I was a singer.
Aren't you a drummer?
I say I can play drums. Maybe the reason why I'm not a drummer for a band generally. I I got bored playing guitar. My brother grew up playing drums when I started playing guitar. I got bored playing guitar for like a summer, and I picked up drums and like just to be able to play them, and it informs me on how like beats and percussion goes. And
Yeah.
when I'm playing, like literally when I'm playing by myself on guitar, I can hear bass lines, drums already as I'm playing.
That's
and so when I
awesome.
go to like record or create something, it's like I already know what I'm looking for, and I can just put the pieces together. But
I think I'm going to enlist you to help me with production because actually percussion is one of the things that I do. Not that I do last, but that I kind of like put off because I'm like, I don't know what it should sound like. But if you can already hear it in your head, that's very cool.
Well, the thing for me is, like you witnessed, I'm not great. I do take time to try to practice with a metronome every now and then. Like as a side note, I do like I grew up playing or listening to like thrash metal music, so I tend to like to play that and make stuff in that genre. And whenever I do that or get heavily into that, that's when I start pulling out the metronome because I need to be a lot more precise. And I know I'm like can be kind of sloppy when it comes to playing against metronome. But if you like any of my Logic Pro X projects, like I actually have drums that lead me in that I mute later because like an actual drum beat helps me keep time better than just a metronome.
Oh,
And
got
it's probably
it.
like just
So
like
while
a
you're
hi-hat,
recording and you're
having
listening
like the
to
eighth
that.
notes and stuff. So, but I generally like I kind of just if I play something, I hear the drums or hear how I envision the drums to go most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, wait, you're a drum major? Oh no, wait.
So my dad was a drummer. My dad was a drummer and a DJ, so I got into music pretty young, just for fun. We had a lot of records. We listened to a lot of music, which is why my taste is kind of all over the place. And so because of him, my first instrument ever was I joined percussion section in the marching band in school, and I played that for a while. And then
Can you do like cool like stick tricks and stuff?
so in marching band, I was bass drum. So we
Okay,
didn't
okay.
do anything super cool.
just
That would
did
be like the snare or like the
Hand twirl. Hand twirl.
But I held down the beat and I would kick off, songs or marches or that's what I can take credit for.
So we got to get you a baton and a body mount
Escalating.
bass drum. Gotcha. I'm writing notes.
Yes. Wait, I'm losing track. Where
So-
were we? Yes. Okay. So and I played cello. I played a couple
Play
other.
cello too?
Yeah. I actually still have my cello at home, so you don't need to get a cello. I still have
All
that.
right, thank you. Finally.
So I had some musical background, but nothing formal. And I think that I really needed that foundation. Like, even though I played instruments, I still wasn't able to take that and be like, oh, I know how to write music now.
Yeah.
I think I really needed that information to be fed to me at first. So I started taking these theory classes. I fell in love with it. So I ended up switching to a music major and decided, this has always been a part of my life. And now I actually really, really want to focus on this. And I want to be dedicated to understanding music and just like how to write it and why I love the songs that I love,
Yeah.
things like that. That was really important to me at the time. So that's what I focused on in college.
What song did you like? A song that you really liked, or even a song that you wrote before? What was like one of the songs that like you deconstructed and you're like, oh shit, I learned this in music theory class, and this is what they're doing. This is fucking amazing.
Well, I know that I know Vanessa Carlton is kind of like a meme, but I love her music. I grew up listening to it a ton. And then she has this earlier album. I can't think of the name right now. And she has a Stevie Nicks featured on it, and then Fleetwood Mac's like one of my favorite all-time bands. And
Yeah.
that album's like really, really special to me. And then she went to my college,
Okay.
and she actually majored in music and dance.
Yeah.
So I just felt we were kind of like on this similar journey, and I felt really inspired by her. And I was like, and then I started to learn piano in college as well. And I started kind of like dissecting her music. And
Okay.
that felt like really cool.
Go do music. Go music theory nerd, because like there's two songs I'm thinking about right now. One is I think it's "That's Life" by Frank Sinatra, right? there's the key change. I think the song is in G major, right? And it's a simple key.
I don't know.
No, there's a simple key change where he just starts playing the root of G and then forces it to G sharp. And I was like, that's interesting that like you can just kind of force a key change a half step like that. And I think Living on a Prayer does the same thing, but I think it forces it a full step or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
those were things I started noticing after taking music theory.
Yeah.
And then I started incorporating like my song Keep Warm Tonight. I do that. I start on, I think, it's B double flat because, it's
B double flat.
I play a half set down. So let's just say the song's
okay.
in B. Let's just say the song's in B. I force it to C, but like the same way that kind of Sinatra does that in That's Life.
Cool.
And then also Sweet Child of Mine, how they switch from, I think this song is, I don't want to fuck this. They kind of, I don't know. I stole the key change from like the chorus into like the solo section for another song that I did because it's like, I noticed how they did that. I think they went from like an A to an E, so they went down a fourth. And I just started noticing like how they would do that.
Yeah, so that's actually really common. So they go to like the key of the 5 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like you don't even need a lot of theory instruction to find out that you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You just need to know how to do it tastefully, and usually it's just like some sort of like transition, like, you know, a passing chord or two that will get you to like the new key that you want, But
like music theory unlocked that in my writing for me, because before that,
totally,
I just stick to the root like way too much. I feel like, but then like music is like, oh shit, I can like shift the whole key, do key change. There's other things obviously I learned from like the classes, but it wasn't like the first building block, but like it added to it. I feel like one thing that I maybe think too much about is I don't like resolve a 5 to, I play in minor a lot, but I don't resolve a 5 to a 1 a lot. I normally do like the major 7 to the minor 1.
Okay, interesting.
Like, I feel like that's maybe more common.
Wait, you're saying instead of 5-1 you do 5-7-1?
No, I don't hit the 5 a lot. Trying to think of a song. Medicate Me does it because it's an E and I go to the B, so that's a 5.
Yeah.
But a song like, well, For the People, I think it's like the 1, it's 1 6 7, and this is an all minor, so 1 6 7 and then 1 2 7. But I'm always going back to the 7 to resolve it to the 1. What's that? That's the subdominant. Do I remember my music theory terms right?
Minor 7 to minor 1.
It's major 7 to minor 1. So D
major. Yes. Subdominant.
D major,
yes.
E minor.
Okay. It's been a while for me too. You asked me like if I think about this like very clearly, like when I'm writing, but I don't.
Really?
No, I think I needed those years where I needed to do like, you know, like homework basically on command to like do these exercises so I understand it.
Yeah.
But now I think it's kind of ingrained in me, and almost like when I'm playing piano, my hands just know where to go.
Yeah.
Or I know where to go to try different things. So now I'm so grateful that I had those years where I was like forced to do all these really annoying exercises. Because I think it's just kind of intuitive now.
That's because I feel like all my base is from learning other songs before music, learning other songs and then making my songs. Because I started noticing some patterns in other songs, and then that kind of muscle memory wasn't like is all just like intuition based on just a bunch of songs I learned. And then when I learned music theory, it started breaking down what that was. But then it also started breaking down.
Like in a good way or bad way?
I always think in a good way. But okay. I think it's somewhat in a bad way.
I like to frame it in a good way.
I think somewhat in a bad way. It's like I started realizing like, oh, I do this a lot. I do that a lot. Like, why don't I ever go to the 5 that often? Am I not writing music well? Because in class we say go to the 5 and then the 1. I don't do that all the time. But that's
like its own education too, right? Like if there's like a song that you love that does that and you're like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
You know, try to implement it somewhere.
Yeah. But that's our music theory like minute, which is way more than a minute. So, school.
So
music theory. You finally What is this? Are we at cap and gown time?
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess you could say so. I really like spent the
Full-fledged
next few
music nerd.
years focusing on music. Yeah, total music nerd. That's where I started learning how to play piano because it was actually a requirement of the degree, and now I play piano often. So very happy about
Do you have
that
that
sort
too?
of
Or
beginning.
did you get rid of your piano?
No, I still have the piano. That's where I go to write piano always. And then, but then you graduate with like this liberal arts degree, right? And then you're like, but it was from like a classical and jazz standpoint. So
Okay.
we didn't really cover any pop music or whatever,
Yeah.
all the other genres that are out there. So I'm like, okay, now I need to become a better lyric writer. So then I actually got a songwriting coach.
Oh, cool.
And then she was also my piano coach, and I worked with her for some time. And like that's actually how I became a confident songwriter.
Nice.
So I got like the foundations from school, but then songwriting is just like such a beast. Like I have a liberal arts music degree. It's not necessarily songwriting. It's like composition, but then songwriting is like this whole other thing.
Why do you think of like songwriting and composition as different things?
I think there's like places where they overlap, but at least like from my sort of, college education, it was all classical and jazz music. So there wasn't any instruction on lyric writing. And that's where I thought I was really lacking when I graduated college. So I was like, okay, I can write chords, I can write melodies, and I can like put a whole song together. I know about structure now, but what about words? And I wanted to really start like writing my own music.
What did you learn? Like, what's kind of first you said in Summer Haze, you kind of went the mumble approach to writing.
My coach was actually the one who encouraged me to do it.
So she encouraged you like mumble writing a lot.
Yeah.
What other kind of like? Because I think I do that too. I like stare out a window and I'll be like, oh, there's a thermometer. Let me talk about what degree it is outside. Or oh, there's a red car passing by. Red car passing by is the first word. A lot of brick. Like a lot of brick songs. I have exposed brick in my apartment. There's been a lot of brick lyrics. But then there's also like the story writing approach. I mean, obviously there's a lot of other approaches. So how would you just generally stick to mumbling, or do you like dip your toes in like other approaches?
No, I actually do mumble writing the least.
Okay.
So oftentimes, I mean, I went through a lot of like exercises with that coach that helped me now.
Yeah.
So, I learned how to become like so much more specific and detailed in my writing, because it turns out that that's like what people really like hold on to. Like they hear a line and they're like, "Oh, I can relate to that."
What's a specific detailed line they've written recently?
Well, if you think about Summer Haze, like skipping the chorus intro, like the first line of the verse is apartment 4593. That's where you notify me. It's like, it like immediately places you somewhere.
That's perfect.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned a lot about how to be. Oh.
Siri has comments too, people.
That's kind of scary.
I just held the button too long on my phone.
It's okay.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Siri scares me. It's not your fault.
She's always listening.
Seriously. So, and like, there's a lot of, when I first started with her, it was actually just like creative writing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't even doing anything music related. It was just all these creative writing exercises, and kind of like, just write stream of consciousness for 10 minutes. And then what's the topic that's sort of there, and what are like key phrases that you can kind of pick out and start a song with. Or object writing, like an orange.
Yeah.
And you have to talk about how it makes you feel, what it smells like, what it looks like. And you realize that you can like become so descriptive about one item in just like 5 minutes. And you have like all this content. So basically for me, I know this is different for literally everyone that writes music, but lyrics always come to me first. So I'll have like a lyrical idea. And then I have like all these notes in my phone where I just save all these lyrical ideas to return to. Sometimes the melody comes at the same time, sometimes not. And then I take that as like the key idea, and then I start kind of using these like exercises to really expand upon the theme and like what the
Yeah.
song's going to be about. And then I take it to the piano. So
That's
that's my process.
I think the writing the lyrics first or writing the story first process is like a very commendable process because no, it really is because like you are approaching generally what most people associate with a song. It's like what are they saying in the song? Like that's why most music, especially now, has words. Is because that's people are interested in the story.
I think that's what they really hold on to.
Yeah, what the emotional content is what they hold on to. Like it's just you start with the lyrics. I start with the guitar and like whether that's chords or riffs or however you want to describe it. I try to break myself out of the box. I can break myself out of a box and maybe start with melody. But the most difficult for me is starting with just words. I'm just like, I don't know, this doesn't rhyme yet.
I just feel like I hear sound bites everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I hear something someone says and I'm like, ah. Or like something I'm watching, a movie and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea for a song. And it's just kind of how my brain operates.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't think there's like a better way. I think everyone should have like their entry into writing a song, however like suits them,
Of course, it's just like I don't know. I always get impressed with other musicians with their process, and like whenever you see someone able to like thrive in an era, you don't. It's like, oh damn, that's like really cool that you can do that. Because I would be like, I don't know. I don't know how. I need the landscape of the what I consider is the music because the words are just like the final layer I'm putting on it, right? I need the landscape of the music that the words are going to sit on because that will kind of dictate more of what I'm writing, and then taking it the other way, you're essentially inspiring me to like, okay, do a writing project on these flowers, describe them, and then write a song from there.
We can do it anytime. Just let me know. We'll just whip out our notebooks and write about these leaves.
No, I'll do it on my own because you're gonna embarrass me because your song is gonna be way better than mine. I'm like, God damn it! I didn't even notice the tinge and the degrees of green,
the glossiness, and the way they're angled.
The goddamn glossiness. I didn't even think about that.
The way the light hits them. All right, I'm gonna stop now.
No, you can keep going. All right, so you've went through this whole process. You've been moving your legs since you were 4, flailing your arms since you were 5. You went to college. You did the music school. You after college, you continued to invest in yourself by like figuring out how to just like write creatively. Do songwriting. I'm curious, like, how does this all unfold? Like, we talked a little bit about, like, we touched on like music, videos, and then as well as like live performance. So if you can, I know like sometimes it's like you don't want to throw too much out there. So throw as much or as little you want out there about how does like do you see yourself kind of like putting that together to solidify into your bigger projects?
Yeah, definitely. I don't have any issues saying that. I definitely believe in like when you share things, it helps manifest them. So just putting this out in the world. But I think I kind of lost my connection to dance because I had such a close relationship with it for most of my life. So even me going to like a class or 2 a year, like that's nowhere near enough. So for many years after school, I kind of lost that connection, I would say. It was always important to me, but I just was focused on other things. And then in the last few years, I've just started to think like it hasn't stopped being important to me, and that must mean something. So I want to find a way to blend both. And I love watching music videos and getting ideas and inspiration from that. And it's clear to me like how connected the two are. I've always felt that way, but sometimes you get wrapped up in stuff and you forget. But it's become really clear to me lately like how much I want those two to like both be part of my life and like my career. So as I mentioned earlier, like whenever I finish a song, I get music video ideas and they always include dance because movement's just so connected to what I write.
Yeah.
It's all like a lot of what I write is like super personal, and I feel like movement is also really personal. And yes, so I was telling Kanem just last night, I like rented this dance studio space because I want to start choreographing for music videos. I haven't released like an official music video yet, and that's like one of my big goals. And I definitely want there to be dancing in it. So I just started choreographing to Summer Haze. And then, but I definitely want dance to like be a live experience for people as well. Not just like, oh, if they go on YouTube and see my video, there I am, or there are the dancers. Like I want them to come to a show and for it to be like really integrated as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely like envision, it's not like your typical like pop or hip hop performance, right? Because what I do is like very singer songwriter, very lyrical. So like the dancing is a little bit different than I think what most people think of when I say like dancing for music videos or dancing for live performances.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like a lyrical, kind of like interpretive dance type experience that I envision. So
No, that's really, I mean,
yeah,
like,
with me at the piano.
Obviously, you got to give me a line into like these other performances because I want to see some of these more not independent. I'm trying to think of the word. Not mainstream, like kind of dance performances. But I always like the offshoot from like, you know, you see this like I don't need to see Step Up 2 every time I go to a show.
Love
like,
those movies. But agreed.
I like that has me excited to see what you put together because it's like, oh, cool. Like I'm not gonna just go see Step Up 2. I'm gonna see Nina Grace 2.
Nina Grace 2. Yeah, it's something different, something really personal, something that like I can really relate with, and I feel like when you put something out there that's really authentic to you, then that helps people relate to it as well. So
it also just like perpetuates your message and how you feel, and you can stand by it stronger and better than like kind of copping to maybe something that people would, you know, that you think would have more of a mass appeal. Yeah, like I think
that's a really hard thing as an artist. I definitely think about this somewhat often. I don't know about you, but
what do you think about?
I don't know what that makes me.
What do you think about?
Oh, okay.
Is this gonna be popular or not?
Or more just like will people understand what I do?
Yeah.
Or like my brand? Or should I do something more like this because that's what people are really into? You know.
Yeah.
That definitely crosses my mind. I'm like, will people get this? But I really think that if you stick to it and you commit to it and you're like, this is what I do, take it or leave it sort of thing, I think people will get it.
I think what's more important is the people that will get it are the people you're going to want.
Right.
Because the people that don't, like, if you're going to have maybe, I mean, I think of, like I said, I was into thrash metal. Not everyone is into like that kind of heavier music.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. And then you see that you find other people that really like that specific thing. And then you have a better connection to the artist and you have a better connection to those people because it's like, oh, we like this weird, obscure thing. Not saying what you're doing is weird or obscure, but like sometimes there's more merit and there's more staying power in that. Like, because if it's something that
like you build a real fan base.
Yeah.
Like,
one, build a real fan base, but you can also think, you know, in 10 years, I'd still do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the older I get, the more important it is. I'm like, I'll do this in 10 years.
To do what I want to do.
Playing Medicate Me for 20 years now. I still love the damn song.
As you should.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. I mean, I've enjoyed hearing the music you've come out with. I've enjoyed the performances I've seen you in. I've enjoyed performing with you. So it only makes me more excited to see like more you sharing more of your artistic vision, you know, as you go on. And
thanks.
I didn't know about the dancing.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the marching band.
Nah, not too many people need to know about the marching band days.
Everyone will know. Everyone. Yeah.
No, but I really want to start sharing more of that side of me too, and post more about that, and you know, start to incorporate, like, make these music videos, start to build these live shows with, you know, sort of like more of an experience in mind. So
if you ever need a bad backup dancer, you can ask.
I'll consider you. I'll need to see what kind of moves you have in your back pocket.
I will not say I will accept. I will not accept anything serious. But if you're like, hey, I just need to put this TikTok together, like, I'm your man. I love TikTok. trying to dance with these kids. Be like an old Obama.
Am I doing it right?
Am I doing it right? Dab the right way. Kids still doing the Soldier Boy.
I think some kids are too little to even know what that is. It's crazy.
It's the world we live in. Keeps moving.
Yeah, that's right.
So, all right. Anything else? Anything else you want to talk about? Yeah. But yeah, Canamex and the Diamond Dogs featuring Nina Grace. And we played with her before in June at the Delancey again, and it was super fun. Like, Nina's a great performer. She adds so much. She makes us all feel self-conscious because we're like, God damn it!
That's
like
the opposite of what I want to do. I should make everyone feel fabulous.
We feel better, but then we're like, damn! But like, she adds so much, and it's been so much fun playing like her songs. You know, incorporating her into some of our songs. It's been really cool
that you've been taking the time to learn them.
Yeah, I mean, they're great songs. Like, I mean, we've set like. Show Me, we've been playing Show Me You, and then we've also been playing Open Wide, and they work as songs. They're not like they're kind of actually like kind of different songs in terms of genre, but like Show Me You, just like all the dynamic chord changes make it really fun and engaging. And then Open Wide, I guess the wide open space to really use sound becomes really engaging and really fun to play. So I'm thank you for bringing two really fun songs for us to play, and then playing with us on all the others, and then being our vocal coach and getting, you know, trying to get better with harmonies and stuff, and really adding not only like bringing yourself, but like sharing your knowledge to help us all be better performing, you know, with you and everything. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I have a blast. I wouldn't say no. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Tonal Distancing. I have a couple releases on deck, a solo track, and a collaboration with KNMX, so stay tuned.
The new things I find out about people I've known for like, you know, a minute, like, it's always fun to kind of like find that out on the show.
Yeah, like kind of peel the onion and like find all these layers.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh yeah, you have like this experience. You sometimes forget that people have this whole life,
you had
right?
a whole life? You didn't
like,
live the same life as I did?
What?
So yeah, no, thank you for talking, and thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
All right, and to play us out, we're going to be doing Therapy.
Also with Ivy States.